Welcome to the Couples Academy app. The Couples Academy app is your go-to hub for how to do marriage right. Get started with our app today by perusing our amazing features that conveniently allow you to connect. This app is packed with powerful content and resources to help you grow and stay connected. With this app, you can watch our messages, find marriage resources, watch, listen, and read the real-life stories of restored couples, sign up for events, read articles and blog posts, stay up to date with push notifications, share your favorite messages via Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, or email, and download messages for offline listening. For more information about the Couples Academy app, go to couplesacademy.org.
Hello. Happy Tuesday. LaKeesha Hines here, and you are watching the SOS show where I'm saving our sex lives one bedroom at a time. Oh my goodness. Listen, people. Okay. So last week we were talking about the ladies, right? I was all there for the ladies, supporting the ladies. And then in true male fashion, what about the men? What about the men? And it's like, see, this is what y'all wives be complaining about. That y'all don't be listening, right? Because I said at the top of the show, I said we're going to take care of the ladies this week. And then next week, I'm going to take care of my brothers. That's what I said. So, fellas, today is your day. I am here for you. I got you. I'm going to support you. I need you to drop your comments in the chat. What's up, Vashawn? Thank you for being here from Chi-Town. Vashawn is in the house. I hope there's some other brothers out here who want to support my man, Vashawn. Not my man, like my man, because you know I got a man. It's Willie. Y'all see him, right? I'm talking about my homeboy, Vashawn. So let me know who you are, where you're streaming from, so I can shout you out for sure. But we are going to jump into this topic today because I'm just, like I said, I knew, like I already knew it. I knew they weren't going to listen. I was like, hey, y'all, I got you. And then what happened? What about the fellas? So I'm here for you. I'm here. Oh my goodness, Brandon. Hello, Brandon. What's up from Oklahoma? That's what I'm talking about. I've never been to Oklahoma. I think I should come there. What do you all think? Take SOS on the road. Oh, there's the thought. SOS on tour. I like it. I need to make a note. Let me know what you think about that. Vashawn said we don't listen. Thank you, Vashawn. I'm not just making up stuff. Like, this is a real thing that y'all don't listen sometimes. All right. So what are we going to do? Today we're going to talk about what to do when you don't know what to do. You're not sure, right? So I'm going to give you some things, ladies, that your men actually want but have been afraid to ask for. They've been thinking it, but they don't want to say anything because they think it may cause some types of issues. We're going to get into an argument, or you may look at them differently. That's what they're thinking a lot of times, that you may look at them differently, right? If they really tell you honestly what they've been thinking about and what they actually want. So now, fellas, since you all asked for this, now I need you to make sure that you are chiming in and confirming what I'm saying, okay? And it doesn't necessarily have to be about you. It could be one of your homeboys, because I know y'all talk. You know, men also, they try to act like they don't talk the way we do, ladies, but they do. They talk. So maybe it's not about you. Maybe it's about one of your friends, one of your homeboys, your brother, your cousin, whomever, right? But I want you to talk back to me, okay? Give me some responses. Oh, SOS, and what is that? NOR. Is that Nolans? You want me to come to Nolans? Or are you saying, I don't know. Brandon, tell me what you're talking about. NOR.A. I don't know what that is. Let me know. Okay, so number one, number one, and listen, this isn't necessarily in order of importance, but definitely I know that these are all top things, right? These are all top things. Hi, Kathy. Hello. Stacy, copy the link, sis, and send it to him or ask him if he's willing, instead of Netflix and chilling, doing some SOSing. Okay. I just made that up. That's not a thing, but we can make it a thing. We can totally make it a thing. Hello, Prince of Petty from Nolans. Hello, hello. Okay. So, number one, initiate. Listen, if you ladies just initiate more, I promise you, your fellas will be so happy, especially if you don't really initiate now. If you don't really initiate now, if you start initiating more, oh my gosh, he will be so proud. He will be so happy with you because, I think we put this pressure, there's this unspoken pressure or expectation on men to perform all the time, right? And the reality is this. I mean, even in conversations with my own husband, he's like, I don't want to initiate all the time. I ask him, we have these conversations. And it's like he doesn't want to initiate all the time, nor do I, right? But this isn't about the ladies, this is about the men, right? So if your man, or if you are a male who is watching and you have to initiate every time, does it make you feel less desirable? Like, does it make you feel like your spouse is not attracted to you? Because that's what, in my research and my understanding and working with couples and talking to men, this is what I hear, that they feel as if their spouse doesn't desire them or that she's not interested in sex. And a lot of times it can cause the man to not want to initiate anymore because he's tired of having to initiate all the time. So talk to me, fellas. Let me know. Let me know. Let me know how you all feel about that. But this is what I have found is that, like I said, when the man has to initiate all the time, he often feels like his spouse doesn't want to have sex or she doesn't desire him, isn't attracted to him. And so it's never anything positive. Let's just say that. Let's just say that. Never anything positive. Hi, Angela. We love you more. We love you more. Okay. So the next thing. You have two hands, ladies. Two hands. Men oftentimes want you to touch them more. Not only do they want us to be actively involved in the sexual experience or the sexual encounter, they often want us to use our hands more. So to touch them, to grab their arms, especially if you have a man who is in the gym and he's working out all the time, trying to get those biceps right. Rub on those biceps, okay? And so a lot of times, like, they want you to admire their body, that they are working so hard to keep in shape. And listen, if you don't have a man who's in the gym all the time, he wants to be touched as well. The same way you want to be touched, he wants to be touched as well. There's some men who talk about specific body parts that they like touch, depending on what you're doing, depending on what type of activity. He might want you to have your hands on his derriere. Okay. He might want you to wrap your arms around his neck or hold his back or rub on his chest. You have to talk to your man and ask him what it is that he wants. But most men want to be touched just like we want to be touched. And when I say just like, I don't mean in the same way. I mean in the same vein of us wanting to be touched, men want to be touched as well. And we have to communicate how we want to be touched. And so we have to ask our spouses how they desire to be touched as well. All right. Because we have skin. Actually, skin is the biggest organ that we have on our bodies, and it's so sensitive, and there's so many nerve endings and all of these things. So there's skin everywhere. And so touch the skin everywhere. Okay. But talk to your spouse. Okay. All right. The next thing. Um, Men do not want to be judged or criticized. So if they actually muster up enough nerve or courage, confidence to ask for specific things, they don't want to be judged. They don't want to feel criticized. So, ladies, we have to create a space that is open and that is a safe space for them to be able to communicate if they want to try something or do something differently in the bedroom. And so, what you want to do is say to them, I'm open to listening. Just because I'm listening does not automatically guarantee that I'm going to say yes, but I'm open to having the conversation. Another thing, I'm just coming off of a sex conference from this weekend, right? And one of the conversations that came up in this conference was about penis criticisms, penis size criticisms. And I thought this was such an important topic because, as a woman, we are often criticized when we age, when gravity takes over, and all these things. And I think we forget about men that they get criticized too. And so there is conversation surrounding that, especially if a woman has had multiple partners and her partner may have a smaller penis size from someone else that she's been with previously. um they have a tendency, ladies, we have a tendency to compare and then criticize. And not all women, but some do. And there is a lot of emotion attached to that for a man. That's his male member, and that is something that is heavily judged and criticized. Penis size, like, there actually has been this cliche saying that's been circulating for years and years and years, like, it's not about the size of the what is it, the ship, or it's the motion in the ocean, something to that effect, right? This stuff came out because men were having issues accepting their penis size. Now, I wonder if, which came first, the chicken or the egg? Was it that they had issues and then projected that on to others? Or is it that because of what was said about them that created the issues for the male? I don't know. But whatever it is, we cannot be in a place of judgment, right? Because at the end of the day, if that's your man, that's the penis that you have to work with. So you better figure out how to make it work for you. And y'all work together to work that thing out, okay? Something else that I wanted to touch on as we're talking about judgment, right? Is if you are having foreplay, or if you are actually engaged in intercourse and your man loses his erection, it is so important that we as ladies don't take that personally. Like, automatically, I've talked to women and they automatically assume that it's about them, that he's not attracted, he's not interested, or he's thinking about someone else. And now, keep in mind, the majority of this audience has been affected by infidelity in some way, shape, or form. The majority of us, not all. And so if you have, not completed your infidelity recovery journey, or you're still on it, or it's fresh or whatever, and you're ready to re-engage sexually, and your man was the one who was unfaithful, or if you were the one that was unfaithful, you still can make that about yourself, right? That, oh my gosh, you're not attracted. They're thinking about the affair partner, yours or his, right? On both sides. And so at the end of the day, we can't take it personally because it may not have anything to do with you. It literally could be a situation where he's just stressed out, or he's tired, or, maybe he's going through some changes. Maybe it's a medication. I did a show about this. Okay. So you can go back and you can look at that. There are multiple reasons why erection difficulties occur. And so, but the point is not to make this man feel worse than what he already is. Okay, don't create an even bigger issue because he's already struggling and having to mentally and emotionally deal with the fact that his body is not doing what he wants his body to do. And so we can either support lovingly in that moment, or we can create more stress, trauma, and do some damage that could be potentially lasting for our spouses. Okay, so we have to have sensitivity surrounding that. I want to go to some of your comments because, man, you guys are blowing up over here. All right, so Brandon says, I don't mind trying to start the fire. I know there's been a lot of rain the past few years to always get the fire started. Working on my physicality, spirituality, and mental health is helping a lot. Yes, Brandon, absolutely. I have said multiple, thank you so much for your comment. And I have said multiple times with working with couples that listen, the way to have the best sex of your life is to be connected to your spouse mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Boy, you connect in those three areas, the physical is going to be right out of this world. So I love, love that you are working on yourself, Brandon, and hopefully, your partner is working on themselves, and that you guys are connecting in these three realms, which ultimately will impact that fourth realm, which is physical. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate that. Hey, Tori, good afternoon. Prince Petty says, stress and meds kills me in that department. See, that's what I'm talking about. That is what I'm talking about. And one of the things that also I've communicated in a previous show is that sex isn't all about intercourse. It's not all about orgasm, right? I understand, like, yes, of course, everyone wants the big O, right? I'm not naive to that fact. I understand that, but there's so much more. So I think this is what we'll do. Prince Petty, you have started something. So I think we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, I'm going to talk to you about some of those other things. This wasn't planned. This is off script, okay? But I think I want to give this to you. That's what's resonating with me right now. So I'm going to take a quick break. Do not swipe left or right. Don't you go anywhere unless you're going to get someone to ask them to watch the show, all right? So we'll be right back. You're watching SOS. Hey, welcome back. Welcome back. You're watching SOS, and we are talking about what to do when you don't know what to do. Part two today is all about the men, all about the fellas, all about my brothers. And I love my brothers, okay? Every single one of you. And so, before the break, though, we're talking about having a non judgment free, having a judgment free zone, a non judgment zone where men can feel confident that they can be open and vulnerable and that they won't be criticized or judged for things that they may ask for in the bedroom. And then that kind of transition into what about the negative things that men hear from the people who are closest to them, like, talking about their performance or the size of their penis, or if they cannot maintain an erection or obtain an erection, or there's a long refractory period, longer than what maybe the woman desires for it to be. And what happens in situations like that? What should we do? And so I kind of started thinking, man, what about the couples who have a partner who can't get an erection at all? because there's been an accident or, medication, or there's erectile dysfunction or something that is completely beyond his control. What then? Do we not engage sexually with one another? Do we just completely take sex off the table? Like we can't do anything? Is that the mindset? Well, some of the couples that I work with, that is. And if that is what's going on, we are denying ourselves something that was naturally put in us by God, which was the ability to experience pleasure. And so now sex may have to look very different from what you were accustomed to it looking like. Here's another myth. Here's another myth. The only way we can have sex is with an erect penis. That is not the truth. Okay. There are many different ways to have sex, and you do not have to have an erect penis to do it. Is that preferred? Sure. But is that the only way you can have sex? Absolutely not. I did a whole show on outer course. Okay. We're used to intercourse. I get it. I know. But outer course can be just as pleasurable and honestly can last longer because you literally control and dictate what you do, what's permissible and what's not. And it really gives you an opportunity to explore your own body as well as your partner's body, right? Because what you're focused on then is pleasure, and the focus isn't on an orgasm. Wow, right? We take the pressure off when the intended goal is not orgasm, but the intended goal is pleasure. Then we have an opportunity to engage in as much pleasure as we can handle, right? So you've got to be able to think outside of the box, because it's not just about orgasm. It's not just about sex looking the way that it always has looked. You get to define what it looks like. Okay. All right, so let's keep going. Things that men want, but are afraid to ask for. Ladies, do you know what turns you on? Do you know what is pleasurable for yourself? Do you know what you like and what you don't like? Does your man know? Because our men, they don't want to be solely responsible for our pleasure. So we have to figure out what it is that we like and what we don't like, what's good for us, what's not good for us, what turns us on, what turns us off. And then we have to communicate that to our partners. We have to. We should not assume that they just know. We shouldn't have this expectation that they just, are going to just stumble upon whatever it is. And sometimes that does happen, but why not take the heavy lifting off of it for them? Why not do some of the legwork for them and actually get to know yourself so that you can share with them what you like and what you don't like. So men really want you to tell them what does it for you. And sometimes they're afraid to ask because one of two things. One, because you all just aren't talking about sex, period, right? You're not really having conversations about sex. And so he doesn't even know how to broach it or approach it. Another reason could be he may have fear that he won't be able to meet those expectations. Sometimes that's a thing, but we have to have this open, honest communication with one another. Otherwise, things will always be as they always were. And if you want something different, you have to do something different. So they want you to tell them, and they want you to take responsibility, excuse me, for your own satisfaction, for whatever it is that you like. They want you to take some of that responsibility. Okay. Another thing that men are afraid to ask for, but that they want in the bedroom, is they want their woman to be confident. They want their woman to be confident. They don't want their woman to talk down about themselves. They want you to be in love with your own body, because guess what? The more you love it, the more they will too. So you have to make sure that you feel good about you and that you love yourself and you love your body. And that way you will exude that. It will just be oozing out of you, that confidence, that sexy in and of itself, that you are confident about yourself and that you love yourself and you love your own body. All right. Another thing men want but are afraid to ask for is for us as their partners to help them feel more competent, to help them feel like the man, you know? When we're having sex with our spouses, there's just this space that should exist between the two of us where we both feel emotionally satisfied, where we feel connected to one another, and we have a strong sense of self, right? So we do have to have conversations because people engage in sex for different reasons. And I wonder, have you ever asked your spouse, why are they engaging in sex? What do they want to feel like after having sex? You know, do they want to feel relaxed, like they use sex as a stress reliever? Do they use sex as a way to connect? Do they use sex as a way to communicate? Like, what is the intended purpose of the sex that you're having? And when your man has an answer to that question, then you know where you need to work. You know where you need to go, because if he is wanting to feel, let's say, dominant or in control in a relationship, well, then maybe you need to be a bit more submissive in the bedroom. If he is one who wants to feel less control because he's controlling everything else at work and wherever else, in every other environment, in his family or whatever, so in the bedroom maybe he wants to be the one who will be submissive. And so then, lady, you need to take control if that's the man that you have. But that's the conversation, right? He wants to ask for the things that he wants, and he wants to ask to feel a certain way, but may be afraid because of how he assumes that you're going to respond. So have the conversation. Always goes back to have the conversation. All right. And then last, I remember when 50 Shades of Grey came out, and this people took it different ways, right? They took it different ways. There are some men who love it when they're in control. Some men who don't, they want their spouse to be in control, right? So sometimes, we have men who really want that whole 50 Shades of Grey type situation, or maybe 25 shades of it. They don't want all 50 because it's too much, but 25. But there are some who really want that kind of sensual, nurturing, caring, loving type of sex. And again, if there's a man who wants that nurturing sex, he may be afraid to ask for it. You know why? Because of fear of how he'll be viewed. Will he be judged? Will he be criticized? Will he be looked at as soft and he's not the man if he wants a more sensual type of sex? And so he may be afraid to ask for that. But again, that goes back to the conversations and us needing to have those conversations. Um, so hopefully you got something out of this. If nothing else, have the conversation with your spouse. Talk about what it is that you like. Let them know this is difficult for me to talk about and why it's difficult for you to talk about. But we need to talk about it so that we make sure that we are experiencing the fullness of everything that God intended for us to have in the bedroom. And sex is truly a gift from God. And so I'm taking advantage of my gift. What about you? What about you? So I want to say, if there are any questions that you have, always feel free to drop them in the chat. I have literally like a minute. So if you have any questions, drop them right now and I will answer. If you have show topics, things that you want me to talk about, put that in the chat because I listen to you and I will bring these topics to you at a later time. But hopefully, fellas, I did you proud. Hopefully I did you some justice. And, nobody really said anything. You didn't confirm or deny other than one or two things, right? But if there's something that I missed, tell me. Tell me so we can talk about it so I can support you. I'm an equal opportunity employer over here, okay? Equal opportunity. So I try to take care of the ladies and take care of the men as well. And the takeaway for today truly is ask for what you want. When you don't know what to do, ask. That's what it comes down to, right? At its most basic level. Oh, I see a question. Oh, oh, oh. Okay, now you waited for me to ask. You don't ever have to wait. Advice for the man who says he has no specific needs: try everything. Try everything that he's willing to let you try, and then assess. Ask questions. Did you like that? Did you like this? Do you want more of this, less of that, whatever? Experiment. Are toys good to use? Note my last comment. Oh, yes, yes, yes. I think if your partner's down with it, do it. If your partner's cool with it, absolutely do it. Talk about the different types of toys. Take a field trip. That was another show. That was another show. Go back, look at the other shows because that was another show. And so yeah, if your partner's down, I say yes. Thank you for sharing this information. Kiko Buffett says that helps men too. After discovering wife's affairs, I felt like I had to suppress and suffer in silence. Absolutely not. No, we definitely need to have the conversations. Thank you for your comment. And again, a lot of people who are here have dealt with infidelity, and it's a hard, long road, but we can recover and we can get back to enjoying sex. If you never did, you can begin to enjoy sex, but it all starts with the conversation. All right. So I love you all. Thank you for your questions. I love when you ask me questions. Don't wait for me to ask. You can jump in here and ask your question in advance ahead of time, and I'll be sure to address it. And like I said, show topics, put them here. I will honor your request. All right. So you all enjoy the rest of your day. I'll see you same time, same place next week. Bye. Love you.